speaking about constraints, you highlighted that we seem to be censoring ourselves. Now, if you talk about, if I could stretch that a little further, is it in a good way or is it hurting us, especially the advent of social media, because we know that democratizes to a large extent editorial functions, and so many people also perform the same kind of functions. The censorship that you speak about, good or bad?
Well, it's not good for content development. The only reason we exist is developing content. And we can cry, we can say that, oh, newspapers are not selling. Yeah, social media has had this incursion, citizen journalism here and there, even your channel. The only reason you exist to develop your brand is good content, is development of content. When you censor yourself, your viewers, your readers will rebel, and you will find the effect in the marketplace. So if you do self-censorship for the purpose of social responsibility of the media, yes, there are national security issues we may not want to handle. But we editors who are gatekeepers know how to do that. But you cannot constrain the news. You cannot censor yourself, because democracy depends, good democracy depends on well-informed citizenry. If the citizens are not well-informed, it means that, well, we are not doing our work. So content development, for the purpose of educating the people, for the purpose of informing the people, is key. And it's also key to brand development, because if you do not feed the people with the right information that they need, either for business or politics or for anything, or for even enlightenment, for education, for anything, for orientation, it is bad. So we don't, it's a double-edged sword. But at the end of the day, for us in the industry, if we do self-censorship as we seem to be doing because of some issues in our polity, it is bad for the system. It's bad for the development of democracy. That is why I was complaining about reporters, that because reporters have disappeared, we may not be able to feed democracy with the news that it needs to grow.
So the reporters are disappearing, and it seems to be an increasing trend.
Yes.
What are you doing, for instance, in your organization to address that and stop it?
Well, definitely, we are doing some processes. We are reorganizing our newsroom. We are reorganizing our processes all over the place in order to be relevant. If we do not do this reorganization, we will not be relevant, because we recognize the fact that if we do not reorganize this process, especially the process of news gathering in this age, it will be difficult for us to succeed even in the marketplace. We are doing that. I will not tell you exactly what we are doing.
When you speak about news gathering and how reporters disappear, can we really address that from the institutions of learning without talking about the remuneration aspect of that? Because who wants to go in if you're not properly remunerated?
No, that was why I talked about poor capitalization is one of the issues that restrict our freedom here. Because if you are not, you can only talk about freedom when you have enough resources to run your operations without running to government and some other agents in news sources, without having to run PR news that even readers, viewers, and listeners do not like most of the time. But you mentioned a very important point, remuneration. People like a former publisher, I think the publisher died, the name is not necessary, said, look, if you do not pay your reporters, somebody else on the news beat will pay them. That is dangerous. Then you talked about training institutions. Now there is this lack of nexus between the town and gown. Now most of the people that are teaching journalism in higher institutions haven't had this cognate experience on the field to teach journalism. And because of the constraint of regulation, you see that we do not have this link between the industry and training institutions to the extent that people like you should be teaching broadcasting in our institutions. I should be teaching some aspects of news writing, reporting, editorial writing, and all that we have. But when we ask questions, they say, oh, National Universities Commission does not allow us, we don't have resources to do it, so we cannot, to even invite people for seminar. It's a big problem here.
All right, let's take, we'll come back to that and talk a little further on that in just a moment. Don't go away.